Former White House counselor Kellyanne Conway has a new book out because, of course, she does. Like every single former White House, staffer or aide, they've put out a book, and of course, it's salacious as always. Don't buy it, for God's sakes. Just don't buy the book. It's ridiculous. However, I'm gonna have some fun by reading some excerpts where she goes after Jared Kushner, because that is fun. Now, she basically considered his presence at the White House to be a take your kid to work day. Now, here's a quote during her recent appearance in The View, which, by the way, don't put her in The View. Please don't. And that's a bad idea. But anyway, here's what she said. Some days felt like this extended, chaotic, take your kid to work day when Jared was in charge of everything. You mean to say that he didn't actually create peace in the Middle East, like you said? Or, single-handedly solve the COVID-19 pandemic by himself? No, really? Really? Now, Conway did describe Kushner as very smart with whose heart is in the right place to help this country, but that he had an out-of-balance, oldest authority and no accountability when he was at the White House. Now, I'll disagree with that. I don't think he's a smart person at all. I think he's an idiot. I think he was 100% out of his depth. I mean, what did he bring to the White House? What kind of knowledge and experience did you bring to the White House, Jared? Along with Ivanka. You brought nothing, no real world experience, no political experience. No, the only reason that he had his job as an advisor to the president is because of plain old nepotism. That's it. But she continues, and again, I love spilling of the tea here. Here's what she said. And this really kind of boils down to what conflict they had. He kept getting in her way. Quote, he got in my way, and all Donald Trump asked us to do was to work together. He said, why are you on TV talking about that you're going to work on opioids and veterans? He said, you're offending the people who are going to work on opioids and veterans. Why do you think you can do that? I said, the president said, I could put it in my portfolio. To which he said, well, that's not good enough. So wait a minute here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put this in my portfolio. This work on opioids and veterans. That shouldn't be a thing for you to stick on your resume for your next job. That's something you should be, doing these things to help people. Helping the people. That's what the job is supposed to be. They're not a way for you to boost your own career. No, these are serious issues of life and death. And look how both of them treat this issue. It's just points on a board. That's it. Points on a board. This is the problem with people in government. Not actually giving a shit, not actually wanting to solve problems, not actually wanting to help people, but just to advance their own career. And again, we get that from all sides. Not actually helping the people. And again, as a result of the Trump administration's terrible handling of COVID, look, we had over 1 million people, 1 million Americans that are dead. The majority of them died on Trump's watch. And this guy was in charge of the response, Jared Kushner. Now, Conway also said this, quote, he shouldn't have been in charge of COVID. He also should have been in charge of the election. They screwed up the Midwest politically, and then he took off to the Mideast to bring peace. And we saw, of course, how that all turned out. She then claimed Kushner was both shrewd and calculating. Look, I don't know if that's an anti-Semitic dog whistle. Jared Kushner, of course, is Jewish. Shrewd and calculating. But that he misunderstood the Constitution and believed that all power not given to the federal government was reserved to him. So, look, this is not This is not mild criticism. It's basically a political open-handed slap, and pretty risky for her to do, which I think is really interesting. Now, while she's trashing both Jared Kushner, and by the way, her own husband, for tweeting out against Trump, she then is kissing Trump's ass, heaping praise on him. And so here's what I think she's trying to do. She's trying to get rid of Kushner because he is a political obstacle. Hey, look, this happens in Washington all the time. Yes, there's a lot of plotting. There's a lot of power plays. Again, it's politics. Of course, politics is dirty. So now she took the risk and came out and trashed Kushner. And look, there's some blame about how Kushner handled a lot of these things. And so she's thinking that if I can remove him politically, well, if Trump wins election in 2024, well, I might be able to take his, maybe not his position, but be higher up on his on Trump's influence, being able to influence Trump. I'll be the one that's most loyal. I'll be the one that is able to get things done. I don't know. I mean, it seems like typical career maneuvering. And so I don't think it's entirely surprising. That said, I want to see what Kushner is going to respond with. He hasn't responded yet. It should be very, very interesting. Look, when it comes to this, I can't help myself. I love a good brawl. I love to see him fight. So let it happen. Let him fight. Let him fight.